There's a little Bach just to get you interested and in the mood, I guess you could say. The Toccata and Fugue by J.S. Bach. And I played that for you because it's almost Halloween. It's very close to Halloween. And I have in the studio with me the program content and marketing coordinator from Dalnavert Museum, Charlene Van Buekenhout.
That's right.
Yay!
You got it.
I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. Charlene Van Buekenhout is in the house, and she's going to be talking about Dalnavert After Dark. Good morning, Charlene.
Good morning.
Welcome to the station.
Thank you.
I know it's not a very macabre kind of time of day, is it?
No.
We'll turn the lights down, light a
the lights-
candle, and then some creepy shadows will go on the wall.
Right.
And
yeah, you do have some creepy busts here.
well, the eyes are. Be
that.
careful because the eyes will follow you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
that's
bust
creepy.
of Schubert, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
long dead, but maybe we'll get a picture of you with him
Okay,
afterwards. And that's what
great.
they used to do in Victorian era, didn't they? So
That's
we're going to
right.
talk lots about the Victorian era. But first of all, you've been with them. You were telling me off air for a year. Dalnavert for a month.
2 months.
2 months.
2 months.
2 months. So what's happening at first of all, maybe some people don't know what the Dalnavert Museum is. So why don't you start off by telling us about it, where it is, and what
For sure.
yeah.
Great. The Dalnavert Museum is an 1895 Victorian home of Sir Hugh John Macdonald, who was the son of our first Canadian Prime Minister. The house is located at 61 Carlton Street, downtown. And most people might not have seen it, but if you walk down Carlton just off of Broadway, you see this great, beautiful Victorian house that kind of looms over the street and
Good
looks
word.
very wonderful at Halloween.
So that's what the Dalnavert Museum is. And you have this event happening October 27th to 30th called Dalnavert After Dark. We're going to talk about that, but the Victorian era is known for being creepy.
That's right.
Tell us why and what you know about the Victorian era. Why people may not know that it's a creepy era. Why is it so creepy?
Why is it so creepy? Well, I will tell you that Queen Victoria, after Prince Consort Albert died, after about 20 years of marriage, she went into a period of sustained mourning. So it was 4 decades long of mourning for Queen Victoria until she died. So she wore black that entire time. She had portraits of her painted with her looking at her husband. She was in black, and she basically made mourning trendy. She wore, like I said, black for the rest of her life. She had a plaster cast made of his hand, which she was then buried with. It was in her coffin, and along with his dressing gown. So with mourning being so trendy, Victorians sort of took that up, and one of their biggest fears was not being remembered after dying. So they would often take hair from the deceased and make jewelry out of it, and always wear it. And taking pictures of their their loved ones who are dead, along with the living together in a photograph as though the person deceased was alive, sitting there. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously from our perspective, that sounds really creepy. But to them, it was a form
way
of
to remember.
it was an honoring them in a sense. I mean,
That's
first of all,
right.
getting a photograph done at that age was very expensive.
Yeah.
So to them, instead of putting on this maybe elaborate funeral, they decided to spend money on getting a photograph taken so they could remember them, because
That's
photographs
right.
back then weren't now. I mean, where whatever digital cameras, you delete them. Those you'd have
they were
around
so
for
expensive
ages.
to make, and they took such a long time with long exposures. And the other thing too is that photography was advancing in interesting ways. So because of the long exposures, you had to sit for a long period of time. If you moved, it would make kind of a ghostly kind of smear across. So that's where we get spirit photography, with what it looks like a ghostly apparition in the background was just probably someone moving, or maybe it was a spirit, but probably somebody just sort of moved into the photo while it was being exposed.
Well, I guess someone in the photo probably had no trouble staying still. I imagine that, unless they just sort of fell over.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Yeah, and that's where you get some of the macabre.
So what are you guys doing for this event? Tell us what people can expect.
Okay, so First, when you get there, we have a bar. We have some creepy Halloween.
First, you have the bar. That's important. First, you have the open bar. Yes, not the open bar. It's
not the open bar. Cash bar. And Halloween kind of old spooky movies going on in the visitor center, just to put you in the mood. Because the tours in the house at 8 and 9:30, it's only 30 people that we can actually fit in the house walking around. So when we let you in the summer kitchen, we'll give you a little bit of context. We'll be talking about death memorabilia and death masks and why the Victorians were so obsessed with the macabre. Give you a little bit of context, then send you into the dark house. It's completely dark with a candle. It's a fake candle. It's LED.
Okay.
But we'll send you in with your candle, and you can light your own way. And what you'll find along the way is art. We've got some art installations by the Bolsheviks and Art Collective, as well as some audio installations. So imagine going into the study. If you know it is the study, it'll be pretty dark. We'll have some lighting. And the Raven, just sort of like Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, kind of hits
overhead,
your ears.
The audio,
yeah. So we've got some audio installations like that. So The Raven, a lesser-known Edgar Allan Poe Bernice. We've got some Arthur Conan Doyle, some Elizabeth Gaskell stories, and even a little Grand Guignol play. Just audio installations in the dark rooms. So you have to lean in and really listen, which makes it creepier. And some of the art installations that we have from Danishka Esterhazy and Wendy Sawatsky are really Victorian-style installations. So they've done this faux Victorian magic lantern type film called The White Woman, and it's about the white woman as a kind of ghostly figure in Victorian literature, and that's a really creepy film.
Even
so
you're
if you come
that.
upon it, it's really scary. I can't watch it very much. It's creepy, and they've made some cinematograms and stereograms, which are popular in the Victorian era. So stereograms are. I just have to flip my notes over. Stereograms are those three-dimensional photographs that only look three-dimensional when they're viewed together. So if you look at them from the side, they look all double photographs. And those are made, all shot in the Dalnavert and kind of ghostly pictures. And they have some cinematograms that are, there's people and objects that move inside these pictures, but everything else is frozen. So when you look at them, something catches your eye and it actually moves. And they've shot those in the Dalnavert Museum as well a few years ago, and those will be available to look at as well. Oh, and Wendy has made some ectoplasm installations. So she's taken the Hamilton House fawns from the U of M archives. I don't know if you know the Hamilton House in Winnipeg, but that's where they used to hold seances. And Arthur Conan Doyle was famously part of one of those seances. And there's lots of famous photographs of this ectoplasm coming out of some of the mediums' faces and being like, all around their heads and everything. And what Wendy has done is animated the ectoplasm, and that'll be able to be viewed in the parlor.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. I'm in the studio. We're talking about the Dalnavert After Dark event, which takes place October 27th to 30th. It is their Halloween event. I'm talking with Charlene. She is the program content and marketing coordinator with Dalnavert Museum. And so for someone like me, now I don't love Halloween. I don't love being creeped out.
Okay.
I talked this little bit about this off air with you. I guess it's not just for people that like to be creeped out. It's almost like a historical event, right? I mean,
That's right.
So sell it to somebody that, how would I? What would I look for? What would I enjoy at that event?
Okay, if you're not really into being creeped out, there's not much I can do.
I can hear her disappointed. Okay, if you're not into being creeped out.
Well, you will get to learn a lot of stuff. Like there is some really interesting historical stuff that we'll be letting you in on, and that you'll be able to pinpoint in some of the literature. Like if you go around to the different audio installations and listen to them, you'll be able to kind of pinpoint what we were telling you about with like death memorabilia and obsession, and you can sort of like clock that and learn and look at that from a historical context and try not to get too creeped out. And so then some of the art installations, because they were made in a Victorian using Victorian technology, that's sort of a history, looking at it from a historical perspective as well, and like looking at how they used photographs and like how they made that double picture. And so I think that would be really interesting. There's nothing I can do about the ghost story in the attic. When you go up to the attic, your candles get turned off and you listen to a ghost story.
Right in the dark?
Right in the dark.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that if that doesn't get you, I think it'll be fun though. There's nobody going to be jumping out and scaring you. So
That's good,
you don't
because
have to
that
be
used to
worried.
always freak me out as a kid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't jump out at me. You can try to scare me, but when you jump out at me, I get defensive.
Oh my goodness. And like your imagination is going to do the work for us. We don't have to jump around the corner. You know, there's lots of
Yeah.
little nooks and crannies that can creep
Good.
you out with your own imagination. So I think it's just fun to just, see the house in a different context as well, because usually we see it in the light and it's all dark and
Yeah.
shadows will be dancing. And I think it'll just be a beautiful, classy Halloween event.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
It does sound like creepy fun.
Yep.
Creepy fun.
That too.
So Dalnavert After Dark, October 27th to 30th. Doors and bar open at 7 p.m. Show and tour at 8 and 9:30. Tickets are $20 for regular, $18 for members. Go to their website at friendsofdalnavert.ca. Friendsofdalnavert.ca, right?
Or Dalnavertmuseum.ca.
Or
We have both.
Dalnavertmuseum.ca. Okay, both of those you can get more information. And it's called Obsessed Victorians and the Macabre. They're just downtown, 61 Carlton Street. So it's a great place to spend an evening,
That's right.
if you dare.
Don't come alone.
Don't come alone. We promise you will get home, though. We
That's right.
promise you'll make it out of there alive.
And you get donuts if you do.
That's right. I was just reading that. There's a sweet reward for those who come out on the other side of the tour. Free take-home Halloween treat from O Donuts.
That's right.
And those that don't come home, they get to stay in
if
the...
you don't, then I guess you get to spend the night in the house.
Spend the night in the house
Or we'll
alone.
Kick you out.
Charlene, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure. And it does sound like a great event.
Great. I hope we
Again.
can make it out.
DalnavertMuseum.ca or friendsofdalnavert.ca for more information.